The giant alien ship hung in space like a silver leaf. Captain June stood on the bridge of the human research vessel, Horizon, his heart beating fast. After years of searching, humans had finally met aliens. "Sir, they're sending another message," said Communications Officer Ta. Her fingers moved quickly over the screen. "Put it on the main display," June ordered. The alien face appeared on screen. It had smooth blue skin and large yellow eyes that blinked sideways. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Ambassador Talek of the Galactic Confederation. We wish to meet with your leaders in person." June straightened his uniform. "We would be honored, Ambassador. Our ship is ready to receive you." 6 hours later, June stood in the Horizon's meeting room with his crew. Dr. Su, the ship's xenobiologist, could barely contain her excitement. "Remember," June told his team, "these aliens have been traveling space for thousands of years. We need to make a good first impression." The door slid open. 4 aliens walked in. Ambassador Talek led them, wearing flowing silver robes. Behind him came 2 scientists and Commander Vex, who wore a dark uniform with symbols that looked like military rank. "Welcome aboard the Horizon," said June with a small bow. Talek's mouth formed what might have been a smile. "We are pleased to meet you. Your species has achieved much in a short time." "We're quick learners," Dr. Su said. The aliens sat down carefully, their movements slow and precise. June noticed they seemed to think before each movement, as if calculating every action. "Your world has high gravity compared to most life-bearing planets," said one of the alien scientists. "It has shaped your species in interesting ways." "We've adapted well enough," Jun replied. He noticed Commander Vex studying the humans closely. Ambassador Talek began explaining the Confederation, a group of 27 spacefaring species who shared knowledge and resources. The humans listened with amazement as he described worlds beyond imagination. Then it happened. A loud crack echoed through the room. One of the ceiling support beams had broken free. It was falling directly toward Ambassador Talek. No one had time to think. No one had time to shout a warning. Except June. In less than a heartbeat, he leaped across the table. His body moved before his mind could process what was happening. He slammed into Talek, pushing the alien sideways as the heavy metal beam crashed onto the table. The room fell silent. Jun helped Talek up. "Are you hurt, Ambassador?" But the aliens weren't looking at the fallen beam. They were staring at Jun. All 3 of their eyelids were wide open in what must have been shock. "How did you do that?" Commander Vex asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Do what?" Jun was confused. "Move so quickly," said Vex. Without hesitation, Dr. Su stepped forward. "It's just a normal reflex." Captain Jun saw danger and reacted. The aliens looked at each other. They seemed to be having a silent conversation. "In our species," Ambassador Talek said slowly, "the brain must process danger, decide on a response, and then act. This takes time. You moved before conscious thought was possible." "It's just how humans are built," said June. "We don't think, we just react." Commander Vex stepped closer, studying June carefully. "In all my years exploring the galaxy, I have never seen anything like it." The meeting continued, but something had changed. The aliens kept watching the humans closely. When someone moved quickly to pick up a dropped stylus, the aliens flinched. When Dr. Su laughed suddenly, they jumped. As the aliens prepared to leave, Ambassador Talek approached June. "Captain, you saved my life today. The Confederation owes you thanks." He paused. "We would like to learn more about humans. Much more." June nodded, unaware that this simple meeting had just changed humanity's future forever. "We'd be happy to teach you about ourselves," he said, "and to learn from you." Talek's 3-fingered hand touched his chest in a formal gesture. "I believe," the ambassador said, "that the galaxy has much to learn from humans." Dr. Neri looked through the glass wall at the humans sitting in the testing room. The blue-skinned alien had never seen anything like humans before. Now she had 6 months to understand them. Subject 4, Han, is ready for today's tests, said her assistant. Dr. Neri nodded. After Captain Joom saved Ambassador Talik, the Confederation wanted to know more about human reflexes. They chose Dr. Neri, their best xenophysiologist, to study these strange new aliens. Han was a former military specialist from Earth. He sat calmly in the White Room, waiting for the tests to begin. Next to him, Dai prepared the equipment. She was also human, but working with Dr. Neri's team. Let's start with the basic reflex test, Dr. Neri said into the microphone. Inside the room, Dai handed Han a small device with a button. Press the button as soon as you see the light flash, Dai explained. The test began. A light flashed, and Han pressed the button. Again and again, his reaction time was almost too fast to measure. Behind the glass, Professor Quell, an expert on alien brains, shook his head in disbelief. Impossible, he said. The signal couldn't travel from his eyes to his brain, and then to his finger that quickly. Yet it does, replied Dr. Neri. Every time. They moved to the next test. Han stood in the center of the room. Softballs would shoot out from hidden tubes. He simply had to avoid being hit. When the test started, Han's body moved in ways that amazed the watching aliens. He twisted, ducked, and jumped without seeming to think. It was as if his body knew where the balls would go before they were fired. His conscious mind isn't controlling these movements, said Dr. Neri, excitement in her voice. His body reacts before his brain can think. After 2 hours of tests, Han took a break. Dr. Neri joined him and Dai in the rest area. How do you move so quickly? She asked Han. He shrugged. I don't try to. It just happens. But how do you decide when to move? Han looked confused. I don't decide. I just move. Dr. Neri tried to understand. In her species, all movement required conscious thought. The idea of moving without deciding to move made no sense. Maybe this will help, said Dai. Without warning, she pretended to throw her water cup at Han. Han's hand shot up to block it instantly. He didn't look surprised or upset. It just happened. See, said Dai. He didn't decide to block. His body did it automatically. Dr. Neri's 3 eyes widened. Fascinating. Can all humans do this? Yes, Han said. Some better than others, but all humans have reflexes. It's how we survived on Earth. But what triggers it? Asked Dr. Neri. Danger, said Han simply. When we sense danger, we move. That evening, Dr. Neri wrote in her research log, human reflexes bypass conscious thought. Their bodies react to threats before their minds process the information. This gives them reaction speeds that seem impossible by our biological understanding. She paused, then added, I wonder what other surprises these humans will show us. In her private thoughts, Dr. Neri felt both excited and nervous. If humans could move this quickly in simple tests, what would they be like in real danger? Or in battle? The Confederation needed to know. Rumors of trouble with the aggressive Vrel Empire were growing. If conflict came, would humans be valuable allies or unpredictable dangers? Dr. Neri looked at her test results again. One thing was clear. Humans were unlike any species the Confederation had ever encountered. And she was just beginning to understand why. Commander Jai stood tall as the transport ship landed at the Confederation military base. 20 human soldiers lined up behind him, ready to join the alien military forces. The Vrel Empire was pushing at the borders, and the Confederation needed help. Remember, Jai told his team, we're guests here. Try not to scare them. Private Minnow, the youngest of the group, nodded nervously. Yes, sir. I'll try to move slower. The ship doors opened. General Zorix, a tall alien with gray skin and 4 arms, waited for them. His face showed no emotion as the humans walked down the ramp. Welcome to Base Nexus, said Zorix. I hope your skills match what we've heard. Jai saluted in the human way. "We're ready to serve, General." The training area was huge. Hundreds of alien soldiers from different species practiced fighting moves. They all moved with careful, planned actions. When they saw the humans, many stopped to watch. "Your squad will train with Sergeant Pax," said Zorix, pointing to a stocky alien with thick armor plates on his skin. Pax studied the humans with 3 small eyes. "We'll start with basic drills to see what you can do." The first test was simple. The soldiers had to hit targets that appeared suddenly. The alien troops took their time, aimed carefully, and hit with good accuracy. Then it was the humans' turn. Minho stepped forward. When the targets popped up, his hands moved in a blur. He hit every target in seconds, his body twisting and moving without pause. The alien soldiers backed away. Sergeant Pax's mouth opened in shock. "What was that?" he asked. "Standard human reflexes," said Jai. "Was it not acceptable?" Pax blinked rapidly. It was unexpected. The next test was hand-to-hand combat. An alien fighter named Krell challenged G to a practice match. Krell was strong, with powerful arms and a tough hide. "Begin when ready," said Sergeant Pax. Krell moved forward slowly, planning his attack. G waited, his body relaxed but ready. When Krell finally struck, G simply wasn't there anymore. He had moved aside so quickly that Krell hit empty air. Before the alien could turn, Jai had tapped him 3 times on vital spots. The match was over in seconds. The watching aliens whispered to each other. Some looked afraid. "Your movements are too aggressive," Sergeant Pax told G later. "You must slow down and be more careful." G tried to explain. "This is how humans fight. We react without thinking. It disturbs the other soldiers." Pax said, "Try to be more like us." For the next week, Jai ordered his soldiers to hold back. They moved slower and tried to fight like the aliens, but it felt wrong, like trying to swim through mud. One day during a training exercise, something unexpected happened. A power cable broke loose, sending electricity arcing across the metal floor. 2 alien soldiers were in its path. Minho didn't think. He jumped forward, grabbed both aliens, and pulled them away before the electricity reached them. His natural speed saved their lives. The aliens stared at him with new understanding. That night, General Zorix called G to his office. "Your soldiers are trying to change their nature to fit in with us," Zorix said. G nodded. "We're doing our best, sir." "Stop," said Zorix firmly. "We made a mistake asking you to be like us. Against the Vrel, we need what makes humans special." "Sir, your combat reflexes are not a problem to fix," said Zorix. "They are a weapon we need." G felt relief wash over him. "So we can fight our way." Zorix nodded. "Tomorrow we start real training. Show us what humans can really do." As Jai left the office, he smiled. The aliens were finally ready to see what humans were truly capable of in battle, and the Vrel Empire had no idea what was coming for them. The alarm blared through Outpost 7. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Commander G rushed to the command center where alien officers were gathering. "The Vrel have attacked our outer sensors," said Major Click, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "They will reach us within 20 minutes. G nodded. "My squad is ready." "This is not a training exercise," warned Click. "The Vrel are ruthless fighters." "So are humans," Jai replied simply. The outpost sat on a small moon. It watched the border between Confederation space and Vrel territory. Now it would become a battlefield. Jai gathered his human soldiers. Private Minho checked his weapon nervously. "This is what we trained for," Jai told them. "Remember, don't hold back. Fight like humans." Through the windows, they watched Vrel ships land. The enemy aliens were tall with insect-like bodies and 4 arms. They moved with surprising speed for their size. "Defensive positions," ordered Major Click over the comms. "Hold until reinforcements arrive." The Confederation soldiers moved carefully into position. The humans, however, ran quickly to the front lines, taking cover with fluid movements that made the aliens stare. The first blast hit the outer wall. Then the Vrel attacked. They rushed forward in a wave, firing energy weapons. The Confederation forces returned fire in an organized, methodical way. But the Vrel kept coming. "They're trying to flank us on the left," shouted an alien soldier. Ji didn't hesitate. "Minho, Su with me." The three humans moved with startling speed toward the left side. The Vrel hadn't expected anyone to react so quickly. When they came around the corner, three humans were already waiting. Ji fired twice, taking down the lead Vrel. Minho rolled under enemy fire and shot upward, hitting two more. Su threw a stun grenade with perfect timing. In seconds, the flanking attack had failed. On the main battlefield, the Vrel pushed forward. Their commander, a massive insectoid named Draz, led from the front. The Confederation line was starting to break. "Fall back to secondary positions," ordered Major Click. But Jai saw an opportunity. "Major, if we retreat, they'll overrun us. We need to strike now." "It's too dangerous," said Click. Jai looked at his human squad. They all nodded. "We'll handle it," he said, and before Click could object, the humans were moving. What happened next shocked both sides. The human soldiers burst from cover, moving so fast they seemed to blur. They didn't follow the careful tactics of Confederation forces. They jumped, rolled, and spun. They fired while moving. They changed direction instantly. Private Minho slid under a Vrel soldier and shot upward. Two humans worked together, one drawing fire while the other attacked. Ji himself ran straight at Commander Draz, dodging blasts that would have hit any other species. The Vrel had never seen anything like it. Their four eyes couldn't track the human movements. Their brains couldn't predict where the humans would be next. Fear spread through the Vrel ranks. For the first time, they faced an enemy that moved faster than they could think. Commander Draz raised his weapon as Ji approached. But before he could fire, Ji was already beside him. One quick strike, and the Vrel commander fell. Without their leader, the Vrel attack fell apart. They retreated to their ships, leaving many dead behind. As the dust settled, Major Click approached Jai. The human commander was checking on his soldiers. None had been seriously hurt. That was... Click seemed unable to find words. "I have never seen combat like that." Ji shrugged. "Just human reflexes." The alien soldiers gathered around the humans. Some looked impressed. Others seemed frightened. "Are all humans like this in battle?" asked Click. "More or less," said Jai. This was just a small fight. Later, as reports went back to Confederation Command, Ji knew something had changed. The aliens now understood what humans could do. And soon, the Vrel would learn to fear them. Dr. Neri sat in her lab, surrounded by screens showing human brain scans. For months, the blue-skinned alien had studied humans. Now she finally understood. "Tai, come look at this," she called to her human assistant. Ta walked over quickly. Unlike the aliens who moved with careful thought, humans were always in motion, always ready. "What did you find?" Tai asked. Dr. Neri pointed to the brain scans. "Your amygdala, this part of your brain. It processes danger before your conscious mind knows it's there." Ta nodded. "That's how we survive. No other species we found works this way," said Dr. Neri. "When most aliens sense danger, the signal goes to the thinking parts of the brain first. It takes time to decide what to do. But humans don't wait to think," said Ta. "Exactly. Your bodies move before your minds decide. It's amazing." Dr. Neri had been asked to explain human combat reflexes to the Confederation Council. Many aliens were afraid after seeing humans fight the Vrel. They thought humans were too dangerous. "Will you help me show them?" she asked Ta. "Of course," Ta answered. "What do you need?" The council chamber was huge. 12 alien leaders sat in a half-circle. They represented the most powerful species in the Confederation. High Counselor Ven, A tall alien with silver skin led the meeting. "Dr. Neri, you may present your findings," said Ven. Dr. Neri stepped forward with Ta beside her. Dr. Sang, a human psychologist, joined them. "Honored Council, I have studied humans for 6 months," Dr. Neri began. "I believe I understand why they fight differently." She showed images of Earth. This is the human homeworld. It has higher gravity than most life-bearing planets. It has many predators. Early humans were not the strongest or fastest animals. Dr. Sang stepped forward. "We survived because we developed special responses to danger. Our bodies act before our minds think." The council members looked confused. High Counselor Ven spoke. "How can a body act without thought? That makes no sense." "Let me show you," said Dr. Neri. Ta has agreed to help with a demonstration. Ta stood in the center of the room. Dr. Neri pressed a button. Harmless foam balls shot out from different directions toward Ta. The human didn't think. Her body simply moved. She dodged and blocked the balls with incredible speed. Her hands caught some while her body twisted away from others. All this happened in seconds. The council chamber fell silent. "Ta didn't decide to move," explained Dr. Neri. "Her body reacted automatically. This is how all humans respond to sudden threats." "But why are humans like this?" asked a council member. Dr. Neri showed more images. Earth has many dangers. Humans evolved with a special connection between eyes and muscles. When they see danger, their bodies move instantly. The same reflexes that make humans good fighters also make them protect others, added Dr. Sang. When Captain Jun saved Ambassador Talak from the falling beam, it was the same system at work. High Counselor Van leaned forward. "Are you saying humans are not aggressive by nature? That this is simply how they respond to threats?" "Exactly," said Dr. Neri. "Humans don't choose to be fast. They can't help it. It's built into their bodies." The council members talked quietly among themselves. Then Ven spoke again. "What about their emotions? They seem so quick to anger." Dr. Sang smiled. "We're quick to feel everything. Fear, joy, anger, love. Our emotions work the same way as our bodies, fast and strong. Humans are not dangerous," Dr. Neri concluded. "They're just different. Their quick reactions make them excellent protectors. The same reflexes that help in battle also save lives." As the meeting ended, High Counselor Ven approached Ta. "Would you show me that again?" he asked. "It was remarkable." Ta nodded. "Of course, it's just how we are." For the first time, the Confederation was beginning to understand humans. Security Officer Yoon walked through the diplomatic ship Unity, checking each corridor carefully. As the head of security, she took her job seriously. 20 important leaders from Earth and the Confederation were on board for a peace conference. Not everyone liked humans. Yoon knew this. Since humans joined the Confederation, some alien groups had complained. They said humans were too unpredictable, too quick to act. "All systems normal," said the ship's computer. But something felt wrong to Yoon. Her instincts, those same human instincts that aliens found so strange, told her to be careful. Minister Jun, the human diplomat, approached her in the main hallway. "Officer Yoon, is everything all right?" he asked. "Just being careful, sir," she replied. "Big meeting today." Jun nodded. "Yes, this treaty will give humans more say in Confederation matters. A big step forward." As they talked, Yoon noticed Counselor Drad watching them from across the room. The tall, thin alien represented a faction that opposed human influence. His 3 eyes narrowed when he saw Yoon looking at him. "I don't trust him," Yoon said quietly. Jun sighed. "Not everyone will welcome change. Give them time." The meeting was set to begin in 1 hour. Yoon made one final security check, then took her position near the door of the conference room. Captain Yoon, commander of the Unity, joined her. "Nervous?" he asked. "Something doesn't feel right," said Yoon. "Have your crew check all systems again. Captain Yun started to respond when his comm unit beeped. Bridge to Captain. We're detecting unusual power fluctuations in security grid. Yun's body tensed instantly. That shouldn't happen. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The ship's computer spoke in a flat voice. Security breach detected. Initiating defense protocols. Yun knew what that meant. The ship's automatic defense systems would target any perceived threats, including people. Override, shouted Captain Yun. Authorization code, Yun Alpha 7. Override rejected, replied the computer. The first security drone appeared at the end of the corridor. It was designed to stun intruders, but now it was targeting the diplomats who had gathered outside the conference room. Everyone down, Yun shouted. Most of the aliens hesitated, trying to understand what was happening, but the humans dropped instantly. As the drone fired, Yun was already moving. She pushed 2 alien diplomats to the floor just as energy blasts hit the wall behind them. Captain Yun grabbed a fire extinguisher and threw it at the drone with perfect accuracy. The machine crashed to the floor. More drones were coming. The ship's defense systems had been turned against them. Get everyone to the escape pods, Yun ordered. As aliens and humans ran through the corridors, more security systems activated. Doors began closing automatically. Gas started to fill some sections. The humans reacted instantly to each new threat. They pulled aliens away from closing doors. They found routes around gas-filled areas. When a section of ceiling collapsed, Minister Jun caught a falling beam before it crushed an alien diplomat. How did you know it would fall? The shocked alien asked. I didn't know, Jun said. I just reacted. Yun fought her way to the ship's main computer room. Inside, she found evidence that someone had reprogrammed the security systems. It was sabotage. As she downloaded the code that had been used, she noticed something strange. The system had been recording everything. How fast each species reacted, how they responded to danger. This wasn't just an attack. It was a test. Someone was studying human reflexes up close. When the crisis ended, all diplomats were safe. The humans had saved many lives with their quick reactions. In her private quarters, Yun examined the data she had found. One name appeared in the security logs. Counselor Drav. So, she said to herself, you wanted to see human reflexes in action. I hope you liked what you saw. She sent a secure message to Earth Command. Conspiracy confirmed. Humans being tested without knowledge. We'll continue investigation. The real battle for humanity's place in the stars was just beginning. Red alert sirens blared across the Confederation space station. Officers ran to their posts as screens showed a massive fleet of Vrel ships entering Confederation space. The Vrel have launched a full attack, announced Admiral Zex to the War Council. They've already taken 3 border outposts. The alien commanders looked worried. The Vrel had never attacked with such force before. Our standard tactics aren't working, said a 4-armed general. The Vrel have studied our movements. They know what we will do before we do it. Colonel Suk, the highest-ranking human officer, stood up. Then we need to do something they won't expect. Admiral Zex turned his large eyes towards Suk. What do you suggest? Let humans lead the next battle, said Suk. Form special units made only of human soldiers. The room fell silent. Then voices rose in argument. Humans are too unpredictable. They don't follow standard battle plans. They act without proper analysis. Admiral Zex raised all 4 of his hands for silence. These are exactly the reasons why Colonel Suk's plan might work. The Vrel have learned to predict our careful, logical attacks. They haven't learned to predict humans. 2 days later, Colonel Suk stood on the bridge of the battle cruiser Thunder. 5 ships filled with human soldiers waited for his orders. Lieutenant Du, one of Suk's best officers, checked the weapon systems. All ships ready, sir, reported Du. The plan was simple but completely new to Confederation warfare. Instead of the careful, step-by-step attacks that alien troops used, the humans would strike hard and fast from multiple directions at once. "Begin attack pattern chaos," ordered Sook. The human ships shot forward at maximum speed. They didn't move in the neat formations that Confederation forces usually used. Each ship took a different path, changing direction randomly. On the main Vril command ship, High Commander Vril watched with confusion. "What are they doing?" he asked his officers. "Their movements make no sense." "We can't predict their attack path," said a Vril analyst. "They keep changing course too quickly." The human ships reached the Vril fleet and attacked from all sides at once. They fired weapons while still moving, something Confederation ships never did because it reduced accuracy. But humans didn't mind. They adapted instantly to the moving targets. Lieutenant Du led a team of fighters that darted between the large Vril ships. The small, fast human craft were almost impossible to hit. They fired at engines and weapon systems, then disappeared before the Vril could respond. For the first time, the Vril tactics failed. They couldn't predict what the humans would do next, because even the humans didn't know until they did it. Human pilots reacted to threats instantly, changing plans mid-battle when needed. "This is impossible," shouted High Commander Vril as another of his ships reported heavy damage. "How do they fight with no pattern?" The battle lasted 3 hours. When it ended, the Vril fleet was in retreat. They had lost 17 ships. The human force had lost only 2. Back at Confederation headquarters, Admiral Zex met with Colonel Sook. "Your tactics were disturbing to watch," admitted Zex, "but effective." Sook nodded. "Humans don't fight like machines. We adapt, we improvise." "The Vril are requesting peace talks," said Zex. "Your victory has shocked them." Later that day, Sook received a message from Lieutenant Du, who was still patrolling the border. "Sir, we captured some Vril communication data. They're calling humans the unpredictable ones. They seem afraid of us." Sook smiled. Fear was a powerful weapon. The Vril had learned what made humans different in the worst possible way: by facing them in battle. "Good," he replied. "Let them be afraid. It might end this war faster." The Confederation was learning that human combat reflexes weren't a problem to fix. They were the solution they had been looking for all along. Dr. Neri stood before a large screen showing brain scans of different species. After months of research, she was ready to present her complete findings to the Confederation leadership. Grand Counselor Pike, the most powerful political figure in the galaxy, sat in the front row. Ambassador Kyung from Earth sat beside him. "Thank you for coming," Dr. Neri began. "Today I will explain what truly makes humans different from all other known species." The room was packed with aliens who had heard about human combat abilities. Many still feared humans, even though human soldiers had helped push back the Vril invasion. "We've all seen how quickly humans react to danger," said Dr. Neri. "But there is something else about humans that we've missed." She showed a video of a human child falling off a bike. Another child nearby instantly ran to help. "Look how fast the second child moves to help," Dr. Neri pointed out. "It's the same speed we see in combat." Dr. Min, a human neurologist, joined Dr. Neri at the front of the room. "Humans evolved on a dangerous world," explained Dr. Min. "We needed to react quickly to threats, but we also had to help each other to survive." Dr. Neri nodded. "The same neural pathways that give humans their combat speed also drive them to protect others." She showed more videos: a human jumping into water to save a drowning stranger, a human pulling another from a burning vehicle, a human shielding a child from falling debris. "In every case," said Dr. Neri, "humans move without thinking. They risk their lives for others without stopping to consider the danger." The aliens watched in silence. This was a side of humans they hadn't considered. When Captain June saved Ambassador Talek from the falling beam, he wasn't being aggressive, said Dr. Min. He was following a deep human instinct to protect. Grand Counselor Pike leaned forward. "Are you saying that human combat reflexes and protective instincts are the same thing?" "Exactly," Dr. Neri replied. "The same speed that makes humans deadly in battle also makes them rush into danger to save others." She showed brain scans of humans in different situations. The same areas lit up when fighting and when helping. "Humans can't turn this off," said Dr. Min. "It's built into us. We see danger and we react, either to fight it or to save others from it." Ambassador Kyung stepped forward. "Throughout human history, our greatest heroes weren't those who fought best, but those who risked everything to save others." Dr. Neri showed a final set of statistics. In the 3 months since humans joined the Confederation military, human soldiers have saved alien comrades 726 times by reacting to dangers that the aliens didn't see in time. The room was quiet as the aliens took in this information. Then Grand Counselor Pike stood up. "I've been afraid of humans," he admitted. "Your speed and your instincts seemed dangerous to us. But now I understand better." He walked to Ambassador Kyung and extended all 4 hands in the Confederation gesture of respect. "The Confederation needs what humans bring, not just in war, but in peace too. Your protective instincts make all of us safer." Dr. Neri smiled as she watched the aliens around the room nodding in agreement. Finally, they were seeing the full picture of what humans were. After the meeting, a young alien approached Dr. Min. "My parent was saved by a human soldier during the Vrel attack," the alien said. "The human pulled them from a collapsed building. I want to understand how humans do this." Dr. Min smiled. "We don't think about it. We just do it. That's what humans are." Across the Confederation, the story of humans was changing. They weren't just unpredictable warriors. They were protectors whose incredible reflexes served a deeper purpose: to safeguard life, no matter what form it took. 1 year after the Vrel War ended, the greatest celebration in Confederation history took place. Ships from all 27 member species gathered around the capital planet. Colorful lights filled the sky. Inside the Grand Hall, Captain Jun, now Admiral Jun, stood with Officer Yoon and other human representatives. They had been invited to the ceremony where the Confederation would sign a new peace treaty with the defeated Vrel Empire. "I never thought I'd see this day," Jun said. "Humans accepted as equals." Yoon nodded. "We've come a long way since that first meeting when you saved Ambassador Talik." Supreme Counselor Vex, who had once watched humans with suspicion, now led the Confederation. He entered the hall wearing ceremonial robes, followed by leaders from all member worlds. "Today marks the end of war and the beginning of a new era of peace," announced Vex. "And we owe much of this to our human allies." The aliens in the crowd applauded. Many had fought alongside humans or been saved by them. Dr. Neri stood nearby with her research team. Her work had helped everyone understand humans better. She smiled at the human representatives. The Vrel delegation entered next. Though defeated, they had agreed to peace terms. They still moved nervously when they saw the humans. "The treaty is ready for signing," said a Confederation official. As Supreme Counselor Vex picked up the signing tool, a small flash of movement caught Jun's eye. In the shadows above, something moved. A small device dropped from the ceiling. Jun didn't think. He shouted "bomb" and threw himself forward. At the same instant, Officer Yoon spotted another threat, a disguised Vrel reaching for a weapon. What happened next amazed everyone watching. Jun's body flew through the air toward the falling device. He caught it and curled his body around it. If it exploded, his body would take the blast. Officer Yoon moved even faster. She crossed the room in a blur, tackling the armed Vrel before he could aim. 3 other humans reacted at the same time. They pushed alien diplomats out of danger. They created a protective wall with their bodies. All this happened in seconds, before most aliens realized there was a threat. The device in Jun's hands never exploded. It was a failed assassination attempt. The armed Vrel was quickly captured. When the danger passed, the room fell silent. Aliens stared at the humans who had moved with such speed to protect everyone. Supreme Counselor Vex approached Jun slowly. "You thought that device would kill you." "Yes," said Jun simply. "Yet you threw yourself on it without hesitation. Any human would have done the same. Vex turned to the gathered aliens. Do you all see now? Human reflexes aren't about aggression. They're about protection. Admiral June was ready to die for us without a moment's thought. The peace treaty was signed that day, but something else happened too. The Confederation Council passed a new law making humans full members with equal rights. Humans would now serve in leadership positions throughout the Confederation. As the ceremony ended, a young alien child approached Admiral June. "Will you teach me to move fast like humans?" the child asked. June smiled. "We can't teach our reflexes. They're part of what makes us human. But we can teach you what drives them. Our desire to protect those we care about." Dr. Neri joined them. "The question was never what is wrong with human combat reflexes," she said. "The question should have been what is right about them." As stars appeared in the night sky, humans and aliens celebrated together. The galaxy had changed. Humans had found their place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as protectors. And across the Confederation, the strange, quick-moving humans were no longer feared. They were admired.